was, in my view, a child victim. And as these videos are circulating on the internet, I want to make sure people remember that and give him the grace as someone who has somehow survived this.
I want to use this situation as an opportunity to talk about trauma, sustained trauma over time, or some people call CPTSD, what it does to you and how this is all intertwined with shame. So obviously, since P Diddy was arrested on this past Tuesday in New York City, there's been a lot of information that's been coming out. People are alleging that Justin Bieber was one of the victims. This has not been confirmed. I don't know if this is true or not. Obviously, we've seen the videos that are a bit uncomfortable to watch, but I don't want to speak on anything that I don't know for sure as a certainty. What I do want to speak about is power, abuse, trauma, shame. That's what I want to talk about. And you have to understand that a lot of times when SA happens or some form of abuse happens, there's an imbalance of power. You have one side that has the thing that the other person wants, and then you have another side where that person is at a disadvantage. This is why here in this town, out here in Hollywood, celebrities use NDAs for business, for personal relationships. You have to clearly delineate your relationship with somebody, what they want, what you want. Everybody has to be held accountable. Accountability is something that we all need. When there's no accountability, the likelihood that the party or the person who has the power will abuse it is high. Because with no accountability, it's really easy to see how somebody can get to a position where abuse is happening. It breaks my heart to see what's coming out right now, and I don't know who the victims are, and a lot of people are waiting to see what information comes out, and a lot of my friends back at home are saying, "Oh, Kojo, what's happening in Hollywood? Who was involved with these parties?" I don't know, but what I want to talk about from a mental health perspective is why victims don't speak out, because of this abuse of power. Like I said, whenever SA happens or abuse happens, it's not about that physical act, but it's about the power that somebody holds over somebody else. And when you have underaged, individuals, children in the industry, and I think we saw this with the Quiet on Set thing with Nickelodeon, it creates this imbalance where kids cannot speak up for themselves. So that's why as adults, we have to put kids in a position where they're not going to experience these things. And obviously the industry is a lot different out here because you have, these kids, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, whether they're child stars or whether they're pop stars, these kids are the ones who are making the money for their families, making millions of dollars, way more than their parents and anybody has ever seen. So these kids are the prized possessions, and parents are trusting these kids with notable people in the industry to help them advance their career, so on and so forth. And a lot of times we do see that it advances somebody's career when you are in the presence of people who have power. But at what cost? At what cost? That's the thing that I want us to look at here. What is the price that you have to pay for getting to where you want to get to? And I want people to understand, yes, details will come out, and people should be looking to, if you're interested in it, looking to see what details are coming out, and a lot of people are just curious, but understand that there are victims here who did not have a voice, victims here who experienced potentially unspeakable things, and there's a lot of shame that comes with sustained trauma over time. I talk about it a lot. Obviously, I have a lot of people who are neurodivergent in this community, ADHD, autism. I'm neurodivergent myself, so I speak about this stuff with passion. And one thing that we experience a lot is CPTSD, sustained trauma over time, whether it's people not inviting us to birthday parties, or whether it's people not wanting to be our friends, or people that are laughing at us and it looks like they're laughing with us. These are all things that lead to shame, and it makes you not like yourself. Keep in mind, nobody is born hating themselves, but because of the things that we go through over time, we learn that there are parts of ourselves that people don't accept, so we end up not liking ourselves. And when it comes to shame, and especially the shame that you get from trauma, it puts you in positions to where your confidence is lowered, you don't feel like somebody worthy of love, attention, and respect, and you are unable to get out of these situations where there's an abuse of power. And I know it's difficult for a lot of people to have empathy for celebrities because they say, oh, this person's rich. They have millions of dollars. They live in, the nicest part of California. But I want you to understand that celebrities are people too. Celebrities, athletes, people in the limelight. All of us who are public figures, we're humans too. We're humans too. And we deserve the same grace that's extended upon everybody. But especially in this situation, I want people to know that when you are underage and you are in these situations, especially in a place like Hollywood, to be successful in Hollywood, you need some type of leverage. And that's why I'm so grateful for my community. I have millions of followers online, people who want to see my mental health content. They enjoy the dance. They enjoy, the raps. They enjoy the skits about setting boundaries and how to, interact with your neurodivergent partner. This is my leverage against the industry, so to say, because I have people who care about the content that I put out, and that allows me to know that, all right, I'm going to be good regardless. Not that I don't need help from people here, but I'm going to be good regardless. I have some sort of a leverage. And also, I'm 31 years old, so I'm able to navigate these spaces a little bit better than somebody who's a teenager. But I want people to understand that there's a lot of victims here that are, potentially underaged or were not in a position to speak up for themselves. And that abuse of power is the thing that saddens me the most about this whole situation. I want people to be held accountable. I heard that, Diddy was on suicide watch or so, something like that. I don't want anybody to feel like they should take their life. I do want justice to be served. Justice needs to be served in this situation. And normally when the feds come after you, they kind of have you all right. Like they have the information that they need on you, and it's just a formality that you'll be charged with something severe if, the feds have, come to arrest you. So that's what it looks like in this situation. But there are people who are truly victims in this situation. I don't know if it's Justin Bieber or whoever. It's not my job to speculate. But I want people to understand that when you don't have leverage and you're in a place like Hollywood, out here it moves so fast and it's tough to figure out what's going on. And also substance abuse is high over here. It's tough to speak up for yourself. So these victims, and we won't even talk about the Cassie situation. I couldn't even watch that video about what happened in that hotel room. It was just difficult to watch. And I wish we kind of censored that, type of content before it's released to the internet. At the same time, sometimes it's good for people to see how evil things are and how, frightening things have been for victims to understand. And it sucks that we have to wait to see video evidence before we believe somebody. Not that we should believe every single thing that's said, but we should give victims an opportunity to state their piece and to talk about what they have gone through and give them the benefit of the doubt. But my heart breaks for all of the victims in this situation, especially underage individuals, because if we can't protect children, then what are we doing here? So who knows who the victims are? I'm not too sure who they are. People are saying Bieber or Usher. I don't know. All I know is that as the details come out, I hope that you all will have empathy and extend some grace to the victims, especially the kids in this situation. People have families now. People have businesses. People have their pride. And especially when it comes to males and SA, there's a lot of internalized shame that you have. And this leads to difficulties in relationships as it relates to intimacy, as it relates to your identity. And as we know, when you struggle with your identity, you have a lot of fluctuations in mood. For example, we talk a lot about borderline personality disorder here on social media. And this is a condition where you have an unstable sense of self. It's hard for you to really know who you are and really know where what you're rooted in. And that can lead to a lot of instability, not only within yourself, but also in the relationships that you have with other people. So I want you all to understand that as the details come out, let's give some grace and some empathy to the people who are victims in this situation. And I pray that whatever mental health services they need, they're able to get these things. So that's what I'm praying for.